Ms. Hale was a human being. And
sorry. Yes, she was a human being. She breathed the same air as us. Like, come on. Like, she was a human being that supposedly committed armed carjacking, fled from the police, pointed a firearm. Who knows if that firearm was actually registered to her, supposedly, allegedly, might be pregnant, all sorts of stuff. But she was a human being. Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. In today's episode, we have Black Lives Matter and Democrats going to social media and protesting out in the streets, shouting a bunch of falsehoods, saying that an unarmed black pregnant woman was shot by police. We have video clips. We have the actual posts from the Democrats and the leftist media outlets themselves. A ton of stuff for you today, folks. As always, if you want to join us here at the Bald Brad Show, or heck, support a conservative, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Share this link with your friends and family all over social media. And with that being said, this one starts with Blaze Media, and they say here, Leonna Hale, 26, was approached by police officers last Friday after she was spotted inside a car that police say matched the description of one involved in an armed carjacking. According to police, the driver of the vehicle jumped out and ran when police approached. They claim Hale also exited the vehicle, went to the rear of the car, and drew a firearm. Police told Hale to drop the firearm, but she allegedly pointed it at police. How many times have we seen this, where the police or law enforcement tells an individual to do something and they do the complete opposite or run away from them? It's just astonishing. Law enforcement responded by firing 3 shots. Hale was wounded in the incident, but she did not die. Now, we have the post from Democrats, the media, the progressive left that we're going to get to at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. But I want to show you a few video clips here, one from Fox and one from another outlet that describe what took place and what's going on with all of this. So let's watch it together.
Tonight is, do you see the gun in this woman's hand? She's facing 3 charges now after prosecutor's office says that she pointed it towards 2 Kansas City, Missouri police officers. This picture came out today after a video of the aftermath of that shooting went viral. I'm Kevin Barry.
I'm Lauren Halifax. The encounter with police started after that woman, 26-year-old Leonna Hale, and a man allegedly held somebody at gunpoint in a carjacking in KCK. Fox 4's Malik Jackson's been following the case and joins us now live from the Jackson County Courthouse. Malik, these developments shocked some of her supporters?
They are shocking them, Lauren and Kevin, because up until this point, the story is that this woman was unarmed. But a new photo released today by the prosecutor's office shows the exact opposite. And now Leonna Hale is facing 2 felony charges as she recovers in a local hospital. These court documents show a differing account than what many believed to be the case. The Jackson County prosecutor's office alleges not only...
That's a firearm, folks. And that is a pregnant woman. But we're not going to hear this from Black Lives Matter. We're not going to hear them talk about the fact that supposedly there was an armed carjacking that she committed, or that she's pregnant and you shouldn't be doing those types of things in the first place, let alone pregnant. Not going to talk about the fact that she had a firearm. Not going to talk about the fact that she was running from the police. Not going to talk about the fact that she's running from the police with a firearm and pointing it at them, which in my opinion deserved to be shot multiple times. So we're not going to talk about any of that. It's all the cops' fault. Nothing this lady did, according to Black Lives Matter, is her fault. It's astonishing what Democrats say. It's astonishing what the left will say. And it's astonishing what Black Lives Matter says. It's always the police's fault. It's everybody else's fault. There's never any responsibility, personal responsibility from that party on an individual basis. It's just unbelievable. It's so unbelievable.
Did Hale point her gun at officers? She was, quote, tracking officers as she continues south through the grassed area with that same gun. Body cam footage from a separate angle, according to the allegations in these newly released documents, say Hale had a firearm in her right hand pointed in the direction of the officers as she's running away from them. Despite this new information,
our community is hurt. We are hurting. We are traumatized. We are tired of feeling like our deaths don't matter. Our pain don't matter. Our tears don't matter. Our struggles don't matter. They do. They do.
You know, again, raw emotion, doesn't want to talk about the stats on anything, just wants to go out there and shout a bunch of hubbub. And again, where's this type of rage in Chicago? Where's this type of rage in these inner cities from black people when you have mass amount of crimes, you have black people killing black people. And I'm only pointing that towards Black Lives Matter because white people should be doing the same thing in their inner cities when you have white on white crime or just crime in general. If people are being killed, you should probably take to the streets if it's a massive problem in your inner cities and say enough's enough. But you never get that. You never get that from Black Lives Matter. They've basically lost millions of dollars. They have no idea where it went. Or you have the Black Lives Matter founder going and buying a mansion. It looks like, I mean, look where they're at. You think some of that money could go to that area and maybe do a little bit of landscaping? You know, I'm sure there's a lot of nonprofits that would go out there and clean things up a bit or whatever. But no. They want to go out and shout in the streets with the lady that pointed a firearm at police officers. But again, they're not going to mention that. You know, she was unarmed, right? So go with their narrative, and you got a bunch of Democrats and leftist media that want to spew that same stuff.
Many in support of the 26-year-old still found themselves backing her.
They're gunning down people who aren't threats down the street.
Until we were able to show them exactly what police and prosecutors say happened.
I see. How come the person yesterday said she didn't have a gun?
A claim.
Oh my God. How does this happen all the time? Hands up, don't shoot was a lie. A lot of things that were said in the media about George Floyd was a lie. Why don't you wait till all the evidence comes out before you craft an entire opinion? You take to social media and you say all these things that she was unarmed and all this stuff. We understand people make mistakes, but the thing is, with this type of stuff, the media has consistently made mistakes. So you'd think at some point, after all the mistakes that have been done over the course of decades, that you'd kind of withdraw your opinion for a moment on police shooting a black person, kind of saying, hey, let's just wait till the evidence comes out, the body cam footage or court documents, and kind of just see what happened in the first place before you start taking to the streets and start shouting out tons of stuff. And then a reporter has to show you like, hey man, she had a firearm, she pointed at somebody. Oh, why would somebody say that she was unarmed? Why would people do that? I don't know, maybe to push a narrative?
That was never backed by evidence, and prosecutors say helped fuel false narratives around the case. However, they say this isn't enough.
If I want to see the body cam footage right now.
Oh,
Hale remains in the hospital due to...
It's never enough. By the way, we've shown body cam footage. People still say it's not enough. There's people out there be like, that's not real. It was edited. That's all fake. So them seeing the body cam footage, Black Lives Matter movement, or whoever wants to see it, and as if that's going to change their opinion on things, stop it. Stop it. We've done that before. We've been down this road many of times. It doesn't change your opinions. You're going to still say justice wasn't given or justice wasn't served. She never been shot. There's no personal responsibility on her end. She did nothing wrong. She's just a stand-up citizen, allegedly freaking almost committing armed robbery, right? If you're doing an armed carjacking and then pointing a gun at the police or even carrying a firearm when you're freaking having a child in your belly. But, you know, we won't get into all that. You know, she's an angel. She's an angel.
Wounds, and it is not clear when she will be released. The male suspect who ran away from police at the time Hale was getting out of the vehicle is in custody. Some say she was pregnant, something Fox 4 is still working to verify. Now, the two felony charges that Hale faces are felony unlawful firearm possession and felony use of a weapon. For more information on this story.
All right, so we have that, right? We have that from Fox. I want to go over to this video here with supporters of Leonna Hale upset over the police department's response to the incident. Let's go ahead and watch this and see the silliness of it all. And then we're going to show at the very end of that the response from like Democrats and the left on social media about what they said.
Tonight, a rally highlighting the mistrust between parts of our community and the Kansas City Police Department. This after officers shot and injured a woman.
We don't care if she did or didn't do what they said she did. She did not deserve to be shot down.
As Hale recovers from her...
Again, that's why I said the body cam footage, they don't care. They don't care what she did or didn't do. They just said it blatantly right there. Again, she did nothing wrong. And that's the whole, one of the main problems with this movement. They never do anything wrong. They could have killed like 5 people and probably still did nothing wrong. You know, it's so unbelievable. And there's people that support this movement, which is still almost just as unbelievable as this whole thing taking place right here.
Wounds. Supporters came together well aware of the charges the 26-year-old woman faces for allegedly having a firearm and, according to law enforcement, pointing that weapon at them.
No matter what we are told did happen, Ms. Hale was a human being. And
sorry. Yes, she was a human being. She breathed the same air as us. Like, come on. Like, She was a human being that supposedly committed armed carjacking, fled from the police, pointed a firearm. Who knows if that firearm was actually registered to her, supposedly or allegedly might be pregnant, all sorts of stuff. But she was a human being.
We could have been any one of our mothers, sisters, cousins, aunties, for whatever reason. We would want them to be brought in safely and not be shot 5 times. We would not want that.
Activist Justice Gatson organized this evening's gathering and questions this single image of Hale holding a gun released by the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office, who says it came from one of the officer's body cameras.
It's the first time we've seen that photograph, and I can't speak to legitimacy of it. We've had problems.
It's just, I literally told you that they can see actual footage, whether it's a photograph of the body cam or it's the video. I just can't speak to the legitimacy of that. It's just, it might be photoshopped, it might be fake. It's just crazy. Again, she's at no point is this lady ever going to sit there and talk about what that person allegedly did. At no point. They just want them to come in safely. You know, they don't want to talk about, oh yeah, man, that person should have actually not been carrying a firearm, pointing it at police, fleeing the police officers. You know, they shouldn't have done any of that. We're just going to focus on this police department because we've had some problems. Well, you might have some problems in your community for all I know. I haven't done research on that. Lord only knows how many calls these police departments being, you know, brought out to and having to deal with on a weekend basis, like Chicago, where you got like 30 people dying every weekend. But again, Black Lives Matter is not going to go out for that stuff. They only want to go out that fits their narrative.
KCPD. And so I don't trust that department.
Following today's charges against Hale, Missouri State Highway Patrol said their investigation continues, and once it's complete, it'll be submitted to the Jackson County prosecutor for a final review.
My baby walks to this store. There was other children and families in the store, in the parking lot that witnessed this. Our community is hurt. We are hurting. We are traumatized. We are tired of feeling like our deaths don't matter. Our pain don't matter.
Okay, so there you have it. Nothing new from Black Lives Matter. Going out in the street shouting a bunch of, you know, part nonsense, part, you know, hey, I get the emotion, I get the feeling nobody wants to see people die. But that's not going to stop them from spreading false narratives. That's not going to stop them from pushing out these fake posts about what actually took place. So here's a few of them. And I love that Blaze Media set these up so perfectly for us. You have activist Leslie Mack said, Leonna Hale is a 26-year-old unarmed pregnant Black woman who was shot 5 times by Kansas City police on Friday. So a couple things is, well, she wasn't unarmed, and we don't even know for sure if she was pregnant or not. So just go out there and post a bunch of stuff. She had her hands up and told police she could not follow their directions to get on her stomach because she was pregnant. There is no reforming this. CRT scholar Crenshaw, please send prayers of support to Leonna Hale, unarmed and shot 5 times in a traffic stop. I think she meant traffic stop. If mass murders of Black people can be apprehended alive, why must Black people in traffic stops consistently fear for their lives? So a little misleading here. I mean, you know, hey, let's just not point to the fact that she had a firearm. At least withhold judgment for a little bit. Wait till all the information comes out so this type of stuff doesn't happen. The Kansas City Defender, Kansas City Police Department shot an unarmed Black woman 5 times. Eyewitnesses say the woman had her hands up. The police handcuffed her while she was bleeding out on the pavement. Linda Sarsour, cops can apprehend white mass murderers without a scratch, but will shoot unarmed Black people that pose no threat to them. Again, this whole thing of unarmed. It's like that hands up, don't shoot movement. Never happened. Just out of thin air, they came up with this. Occupy Democrats breaking. A witness reveals that Kansas City police shot Leonna Hale, a pregnant unarmed Black woman, 5 times as she was running away from them. She has been hospitalized with serious injuries but remains stable. Look, at no point are they mentioning any of the things that we just went over and talked about that police said in the report, police said in the court papers? None of that stuff, because they have a narrative, right? And this is the narrative they want to push, is there's police officers going out there hunting down Black people in the streets and gunning them down, which has been proven to be false time and time again with studies. If you don't want to be shot by the police, how about you don't break the law? If you don't want to encounter police, don't break the law. If you don't want to be shot by police, don't carry a firearm pointed at them. If you don't want certain things to happen with the police, then don't commit crime that leads to the police going after you, trying to find you. Now, there could be a case being made of like, hey, you know what? The vehicle just so happened to resemble the one in the armed carjacking. Now, that is a case that could be made. Fine, but it still doesn't support everything else that took place after. So again, folks, there we have it. We have another example of Black Lives Matter Democrats going out and pushing a bunch of false things. People are then going to take all of that in and go, oh my gosh, an unarmed black person. They're not going to take the time to actually research stuff. They're not going to take the time to change their thoughts. They're not going to take the time to do all these things. They're just going to take to the streets, take off work, or maybe they don't have a job or whatever, and they're going to shout this nonsense. And then now we got rioting happening back and forth once again, like that hands up, don't shoot movement, or the George Floyd stuff where a bunch of false information was spewed as well, or Trayvon Martin, all this stuff. All because they just can't get their ish together and just hold off judgment for a little bit and wait for the evidence to come in. And folks, I will try to keep you updated on what's going on if she was in fact pregnant, if there is any updates on, hey, you know what, this is actually, she didn't point at police at all, that was a big mistake on them. I'll be sure to update all of you with all of these things. As always, if you want to support us here at the Bald Brad Show, heck, support a conservative, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, share this link with your friends and family all over social media. With that being said, I will see you later here on the Bald Brad Show.